What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. All right, very sad news to report on that Pernell Whitaker, Sweet Pea, has passed away. He was involved in a car accident last night. I'm not quite sure if he was driving, if it was a hit and run. I don't know the details of the accident, but what we do know, and it's been reported, 2-3 hours ago, that Pernell Whitaker has passed away. One of the greatest fighters of all time, like hands down, right? Top 15, top 20 greatest fighters of all time. Definitely for me, the greatest defensive fighter of all time. It's just between him and Floyd, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a historian. I don't pretend to be. I'm not a Burt Sugar. But there can't be a better defensive fighter than Sweet Pea. It's impossible, right? The argument will start now as to who the greatest lightweight of all time is. I don't think this is a time for debate. I'll probably make a video about it later on in the year sometime. I guess it's between him, Floyd, Roberto Duran. Some people might even add Vasyl Lomachenko into the argument now. But it's always sad when one of the greats pass. I don't know. Someone did tell me, in life, you're only promised two things: death and taxes. But it doesn't mean death is easier to take, even though you know it's coming, right? Especially when it happens in circumstances like this. When I get bored of fighters of this generation, or just watching fights of this generation, I always go onto YouTube, and one of the first names I type, and I can't lie, it's not just Pernell Whitaker, that would be me bullshitting. It's not. I type in James Toney, Bernard Hopkins, Old Floyd, and Pernell Whitaker, and just watch and watch. And I kid you not, I could be on YouTube for fucking hours. I mean, I've got this thing on my phone where YouTube tells me, well, I've actually set it up on my phone where it tells me if I've been on YouTube for more than 2 hours, and that thing routinely pops up. And I'm like, yeah, dismiss, because I'm just watching interviews of fighters like that back in the day, which just had fighters that had so much charisma, right? So much charisma, just in and out of the ring. And Pernell Whitaker was definitely one of my favorite fighters. And it's just sad that he's passed away. I wrote down, because I didn't want to miss out anything, I wrote down some of his accolades. And the first thing I wrote was greatest defensive fighter of all time. But there's so much more. 4-weight world champion, 1 belt at lightweight, light welter, welter, and light middle. 2 of those lineal. And I think that's important, because I think, especially in boxing of this era, it's almost, I wouldn't say it's easy. It's never easy to win a world title. Never. I mean, you have to be something good to win a world title, but there are easier routes. I think we can all admit that. Fighters do pick and choose, right? So I think lineal is what stands out for me. If you're a lineal, that means you are the man in that division, right? For example, Pacquiao's an 8-weight world champion, 5 lineal. Do you know what I mean? So it just stands out for me. So 2 of those lineal, the lineal ones were at lightweight and welterweight. 1989 Fighter of the Year. Go and check who was in that era. To be Fighter of the Year in 1989, go and check who was around. And Pernell Whitaker got that. 1993 to 1997, Ring recognized him as the pound for pound #1. The longest unified run in boxing history at lightweight, 6 title defenses. His record in the end was 46 fights, 40 wins, 4 losses. 2 of those very disputed, by the way. I can't remember his first title fight. Can't remember it. His first title fight and the Oscar fight, kind of disputed. Oscar won. You can make an argument that Oscar won, but again, disputed. 1 draw and 1 no contest. The 1 no contest, we're going to talk about that. There is a bit of bad when it comes to Pernell Whitaker. This isn't probably the time to be speaking about it, but we'll touch on it anyway. In 2002, Ring Magazine ranked him 10th in their list of best 100 fighters of the last 100 years. Think about that. 10th. 10th. Fucking hell. 1984 Olympic gold medalist, 1982 World Championship silver medalist. Fantastic amateur career. 214 amateur fights and 201 won. Hope I said that correct. So he won 201 of those. Again, when you look at those stats, even if I didn't tell you who this was, so if I didn't tell you it was Pernell Whitaker, that's the kind of stats that tell me you are legit, right? You are just phenomenal. I mean, that's what I'm looking for when we talk about greatest fighters of all time. Someone put up, I think it was Boxing Kingdom, and this isn't a go against Boxing Kingdom, but Boxing Kingdom, I think put up a tweet and list Canelo's sort of resume, right? And it was like great names. Let's be fair, decent names on that resume. And I said, what did I say? I said something along the lines, and I think a lot of people retweeted it and liked the tweet, which is good, thank you. But what I said was, I'm not interested in names on resumes. I'm a hardcore boxing fan. That doesn't fool me. I look at things like, when did you fight them? Were they at their peak? Were they coming to the end? Were they weight drained? Did they come up in weight? Did they come down in weight? Was there a rehydration clause? I look at all things like that, and then I make my judgment. And I also said, like, give me 4 peak versus peak fights over 20 names on a resume. And when I look at someone like Pea Whitaker, I think of the fight with Julio Cesar Chavez, which was literally for the pound for pound status. Do you know what I mean? Give me those fights. Give me Oscar De La Hoya fight. Give me a Zuma Nelson fight. Give me that. Give me 3 or 4 great versus great, no excuses, legit versus legit, no weight drain, no nothing, no coming off a loss, no jumping 2 weight classes. Give me those compared to 17 names. And that's what Pernell Whitaker gave me over his career. The only blip on his career, and we have to mention it, some people might not, is let's not forget he failed 2 drug tests. He was supposed to fight in what would have been a bloody great showdown, Ike Quarte. And that fight didn't happen because he failed a drug test. The one no contest on his resume is, again, a failed drug test. So that's the only blip on what is a phenomenal resume. And it's a sad day when someone like this, a great, passes away. So yeah, rest in peace, Pernell Whitaker. Peace, peeps.